Today, we will be talking about candle magic. That's right. Hey, I am BlazeLeeDragon, and thank you for tuning in. Remember, if you like these videos and you really like what I'm saying or just enjoy watching them, remember to hit that thumb up, like, and subscribe. So, today is going to be a little bit longer video. Why is that? Well, because candle magic is not only a big topic, but there's a couple things to cover with it. It's also one of those things that is very popular that a lot of people try to research at some point or another if they study any form of mysticism or religion. What is it about candles that has drawn so many people to it throughout the years? Well, obviously before electricity and lights, we had fireplaces, torches, and candles. They were convenient, and they have been used across many cultures, religions, and spiritualities. I mean, it doesn't really matter which spirituality you're talking about. A lot of them have used candles on their altars for a multitude of reasons, whether it be honoring something. Sometimes it's honoring someone who had passed away. Sometimes it's honoring their deities. Sometimes it's used in a spell. Sometimes it's just, there because it lights up the area. We're talking about a little flame, little piece of fire that's conveniently there, easy to use, easy to extinguish, unlike, a torch or a fire. Even today, people hold a fascination when it comes to flame. Flame itself, fire, and talking about fire magic, specifically with candle magic, fire is the element of change. It is changing one thing into another. A piece of metal is shaped through fire. We are forged in the fires of life. It's symbolic, not to mention the fact that, again, fire turns something into something it's not. Flame touching paper turns it into ash. There's a transformation that occurs and goes on. But fire is not only just change and destruction. Sometimes it's hope, wisdom, understanding, and enlightenment. It can also be protection. Not only to protect, watchfires and to keep things away, to repel them, similar to using the jack-o'-lantern. They'd light the candle and it was to repel the negative spirits. But light can also draw in those who have passed away and bring them back to us on days to remember. Fire and flame have always been an integral part of any culture. It is not uncommon to see a candle on anybody's altar for any purpose or reason that you can think of. Even if you look in Christian mythology, not only do they have candles typically on their altars, sometimes you'll go into churches and you'll light them in remembrance of people who have passed away or to honor people. Not to mention the marriage ceremony. Sometimes people have what's called a unity candle where the two flames unite. Fire is just important sometimes to people. So let's talk about different rituals and ceremonies that they might use candles and flames for. And now, of course, with this being focused around candle magic, we're of course going to focus more on the theory and practice behind the spellcraft portion of it. There's obviously plenty of different types of ceremonies out there and religious reasons and purposes, and of course look into those religions to find out more about them because they're plentiful. But specifically, let's talk about candle magic. There are many forms of candle magic, first of all. There is simply using candles in a ritual or in a ceremony or just doing a spell. They can vary depending on the practitioner and of course what their goal and aim is. Now, using the candle itself, can it be used by itself? Absolutely. Can it be used with other items? Sure. Now, covering other items that can be used along with it would of course be a different video. Let's specifically talk about using a candle, or a candle that might enhance an otherwise ritual or spell or ceremony that's being done. Of course, the candle color does play a part to some people. Again, using candles and how they are used is going to vary from practice to practice, person to person, culture to culture. Each of the colors of the candles is as various as the spectrum of colors that we have available to us and anything that you can mix. Their meaning is going to be different to each person. You're going to find books out there, you're going to find articles and websites that say this color means this or that color means that. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if you yourself are using a candle for some sort of a spell or ritual, it doesn't matter what you're using it for. It could be, a Christian ritual, it could be a Jewish ritual, a Druid ritual, a Buddhist ritual, a Hindu ritual. It doesn't matter what ritual you're using it for. Maybe it's just a generic spell and you don't necessarily believe in faith or religion. That's fine. The meaning that color has to you is more important. because it can be thought of almost as a focusing tool, something to help you direct your thoughts and direct your focus during that said spell. Now, at the same time, that color can also play another important role. It is believed by some that each color has a frequency or a vibration. This is, of course, related to, how light works. Light hits something, it's going to refract some of it off and absorb portions of it. You have different light spectrums based upon that, and that's what our color is basically light hitting it, what's absorbed and what's not absorbed out of that light spectrum. That's at least my understanding. So if it's a little bit off, hey, that's just the way I'm going to put it in the words for you. That should, in some cases, translate to mysticism, spirituality, and magic. So using a specific color might enhance something a little bit better. Typically speaking, when you think of a red candle or a red color, you're talking about something along the lines of passion, love, anger. It's something extreme or intense, whereas blue is a little bit more calm, relaxed, and just soothing. So it just depends on what you're trying to do, which color you're going to choose to use. And again, do some research. There's plenty of people who have opinions on what color should be associated with what. That is one method of using candles in rituals or spells. When you're doing your spell for a specific reason, depending on what elements you choose to mix into it, whether it be words or prayers or poems, pick a color that's associated with that ultimate goal. Are you trying to protect yourself? Are you trying to heal yourself? Are you trying to be more calm at work or in life? Choose a color that's going to help you to meet that goal. Maybe you use multiple colors. Maybe you use multiple candles. There's nothing wrong with that. Another way of using a candle is by enchanting it or loading it. You're filling it with an energy or vibration of your own. Now, some individuals who practice Reiki will actually Reiki charge candles. Other individuals who just do enchantment or mysticism, again, this could be a separate video, so I won't go into it too much, but essentially what they're doing is they are filling the item with that essence, that feeling, that vibration, that emotion. They are pouring it through their hands or through their mind to allow it to absorb into that wax, into that wick, so that when it burns, it's releasing those vibrations along with its color vibration, or perhaps instead of its color vibration. So in essence, you could use any color candle, and you just charge it and load it specifically with what you had in mind, so that when it burns, it's helping to release those vibrations into your ritual, ceremony, or spell. This is another way of using candles. Regardless of the purpose that you're using the candle for, how you're using it, some people recommend what they call spell candles. These are essentially small candles that burn out within a couple of minutes. The reason that they choose these small candles is some individuals believe that if they charge or load this candle to be of a specific vibration, they customize it to that one spell and they use it one time. This would be different opposed to some sort of a candle that you would honor the dead with and light it multiple times, or whatever the case may be. That small burning candle that burns out quickly, they want it to burn out to release the entirety of that energy that they put into it. This way, that candle for that spell gets used completely to complete that spell. It's sort of like a time release idea. So some people will do that, and you'll find spell candles online that are a little bit shorter and quicker to use. Nothing wrong with using the bigger ones, it's just a different method. Now, aside from that, something else that you can consider when you're picking out a candle is, of course, what the candle is made of. There's many different substances that have been used throughout history to make different types of candles. For example, in China, they would use beeswax. This was done as early as the Tang Dynasty, which would be about 1618 to 907 CE. Cocoa pella insects, which I had to look up how to spell that because I'm actually not familiar with that, but sometimes they would use those to make the wax. Extracts from tree nuts in early Japan. India, they would boil the fruit of the cinnamon tree. A common one that was used in Europe especially, or even the Americas until about the 18th century, was tallow. And tallow is essentially kind of made from animal fat. Then there, of course, during the whaling industry, they developed this thing that was called, excuse me if I mispronounce this, but spermaceti wax. It was a clean burning, low odor wax, and that basically came from the head oil of the sperm whale. This actually remained as a primary use for creating wax until about the 1800s. It was the main go-to for wax. And of course, a few more that I'm going to mispronunciate as well. Over in Europe, there was stearin from animal fatty acids. During the later half of the 20th century, there was many synthetic and chemically made waxes, including gels. Two vegetable-based candle waxes was from soy wax and palm wax, which was developed around the 1990s. Paraffin is by far the most frequently used worldwide today, and beeswax, it's used around the globe, but it's just not used as often. Stearin for candle wax is still pretty much right around Europe for the most part, and it's still pretty commonly used. But a lot of the other ones, they're usually used in like specialty candles or different types of blends or customized formulas. Which brings me to my next point and next method, and that's of course making your own candles. And some people will actually take certain herbs that again will enhance their spell or ritual or ceremony, and they will mix them into the wax when they're forming the candle. So now you have an herbal candle that has the herb's energy as well as the actual wax, color, and enchantment that you choose to put into the candle. Now, I am talking kind of fast, and I'm doing that on purpose because of how long this video is. So if you're still listening, I greatly appreciate you listening this far. One of the last things that I wanted to mention as far as candles go. Candles and the use of candles is not limited to any one religion, culture, or spirituality. So regardless of the path that you choose to follow, make it your own and have fun. Just be aware that if you do have something you're lighting and letting it burn out, put it in a safe place. Don't catch your house on fire. Be smart with the use of it. This is fire and it is dangerous. But at the same time, customize it. Make it your own. Make candles at home. For crying out loud, take an old soup can because it's going to be messy, melt some crayons and dip a freaking piece of string into it. Make your own custom candle there. Throw in some herbs, whatever you want to do. There's tons of different methods out there for making your own candles. But, make it a unique and rewarding experience for you. Now, this video has been extremely long, like I said, so thank you so much for sticking through it. And remember, if you like these videos, please continue to thumb up, like, and subscribe, and leave your comments so that I know you want me to keep making them. So yeah, there's candle magic for you in a nutshell, just a little basic introduction from Blaze. And yeah, have a good evening and happy spell making.